Welcome, Autumn Michael, candidate for Davidson Town Commissioner. We're so grateful for you for taking time out of your busy schedule to respond to 3 key questions during this live Facebook interview. All candidates will answer the same questions and have about 3 minutes per question, and we'll signal you when you're getting close to the 3-minute mark, okay? First question, what do you believe are the 3 most important issues facing our town right now, and how would you address these critical issues?
Great. Thanks, Ellen, and thanks to the Facebook community who's watching it this morning. For me, the 3 critical issues right now are maintaining the small, historic college town character of the community. Second would be improving town communications, and third would be reprioritizing quality of life issues here at Davidson. So to talk about those in order, first is in terms of maintaining the historic college town. That's really where my professional background in historic preservation and community character and those issues come into play, as well as my relationships in those fields that I hope we could bring to bear in learning best practices on how to address some of those issues. But it's really through that lens of the historic small college town that I think is important that we view all of our decisions, be it economic development, cultural recreation opportunities, or growth management. As you know, and you all know, we're living in a time of rapid change and rapid development in the Charlotte region, and tremendous growth pressures, and we have to make sure that we as a town aren't exacerbating those issues. Number 2 would be improving town communications, and we just have to do better. We have to do better at communicating and at interacting and receiving information from citizens. A large part of the community's frustration is that we're not engaging the people in what are considered authentic and really respectful ways. Now, we're not all going to agree on all issues. Frankly, diversity of opinion is important as we make educated decisions, but inevitably decisions have to be made on tough issues, and that's easier when a community feels like they've had valid input and meaningful citizen input on issues, and good governance to start with in those issues. So that would be a priority for me in terms of charrettes, be it neighborhood meetings, be it coffee chats, or to put on my academic hat, office hours perhaps. Thirdly, important to me is reprioritizing our quality of life issues in Davidson and kind of bringing that balance back. And that includes neighborhood parks, small-scale recreation activities, greenways, repairing sidewalks, filling sidewalk gaps, preserving our tree canopy. It's important to so many of us. Pedestrian safety is important to us as well. Supporting diversity in housing options, and really overall community-wide health and safety issues. And perhaps there are other things related to quality of life that we're not even aware of or thinking of as a town right now, that we really need to listen to our citizens and engage on other things that haven't been a priority that we think should be. So really re-engaging the community and reprioritizing quality of life for our citizens here would be my third important aspect.
Thank you. The second question is a 2-part question having to do with strengths and weaknesses. What are the greatest strengths or experiences you bring as a candidate, and how would you apply these to better Davidson?
So in terms of strength, I think my knowledge of the issues and really familiarity with the community in my professional expertise, as well as the volunteer capacity that I've been involved in Davidson for a while. We've lived here for almost 12 years, and I've been actively engaged in the community on many fronts, including 5 or 6 years on the planning board where you sit now, as well as leadership positions in our children's schools, and working with CMS on various issues, as well as being involved in our church, and obviously in my current job with a local nonprofit. So I think that kind of breadth of experience over the community is helpful to bring to this. I also think that coupled with my personality as sort of a rational thinker and bridge builder really is important in the health of our community and bringing folks back together and trying to heal this place where we are and figuring out how to move forward with a consensus on what's important to the community. So I think that in terms of strengths, those are strengths that I bring. In terms of weaknesses, because of my focus on my professional and personal focus on conservation and historic preservation, I recognize that there are program areas that that are important to our community that I don't really have any true expertise in. For example, I'm really interested in economic development from a local place-based way. And I don't know a lot about how you foster that kind of entrepreneurship, what attracts local small businesses, the Kindreds, the AR workshops, and those kind of places to come and want to be in Davidson. And so I'd love to learn more about that. But that is an area that I need to learn more about. So that would be potentially a weakness there.
Thank you. And the last question. What do you think the role of the commissioner is and should be? What duties are prescribed by the statute, and how does that translate to day-to-day operations in Davidson?
Well, by North Carolina statute, and as a lawyer I actually looked it up too, but North Carolina statute under 160A 67, there really is a very defined role for the commission within our particular council manager form of government, and it's setting vision and public policy first, also managing senior staff, passing ordinances, and a budget that reflect the vision and policies that the commission sets. So to that end, I think we need to look at some of the community issues that we have currently and think about where those fit into our current ordinance and our current practices, as well as how we're budgeting around those. And I also think we need to look to outside of Davidson, to other communities for best practices. We need to look to the League of Municipalities. We need to look to the Institute of Government, the IOG in Chapel Hill, and places to look for best practices to help deal with some of our issues, particularly around growth and development and density and housing and those things. That's the technical prescribed role for the commission, but there's also a leadership and a tone role, really, for the commission to play. And again, that goes back to engaging with citizens and giving voice to citizens in the process. And that dialogue is important, and it's really honestly what initially inspired me to run for town board. But if we do that piece well, that citizen engagement, that education and community engagement piece, then we should be able to address some of these really thorny issues that we're dealing with as a community in the face of the rapid growth and rapid changes that are affecting us.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Autumn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.